way to empower your team to both understand and act on data and through the power of stories. Now, here the focus words are you need to act on data. Now, every one of you have some kind of a data with you. And from that data, initially in Microsoft Excel, you start to create some charts, pivot tables. You might do some analysis going forward to do that. Now we have some business intelligence tools in our organization, something like Power BI, Tableau, Click, View, or any other application. On that application, your data should act and tell the management that how the business should take their decisions. By seeing the visualization that the power of stories and the power of stories concept is not new. It is an old something like in our childhood we used to understand stories rather than the words and the images comes in our mind. Stories are very powerful. It gives you it transformed the message very quickly. Similarly, when you create dashboards and when to do some quick visualization, the data speaks itself via some good visualizations. And that's the power of stories in the dashboards. So, the data storytelling is the new concept in the new skill set and the advanced level, so that you should understand that how the data will act on it and how you can create a powerful visualizations for your dashboards. One more good quote is creating effective data visualization requires learning a new language with new grammar rules. So, this is a kind of a new language. It is a new skill set, as I just mentioned earlier in the video, and you need to learn something new as you previously done in Microsoft Excel. So, it might be many of the users will be creating a column charts, line charts, and the pie charts in Microsoft Excel now. But you need to move yourself one step ahead in order to apply the data storytelling visualizations. Okay. So, well, the first thing, what was the old way of data exploration? So, previously, you have some numbers. You put that numbers in into the dashboards, right? You need a lot of hours to spend to get your answers from that insights. You need you are creating a generated report to send to everyone or to your management, and you are not able to understand it very fast. So now with the power of data storytelling, you can communicate like a human, not like a machine. You can explain the reasons instantly and you can personalize your needs in that dashboards as well. And we know that the concept of personalization is everywhere. When you open a Facebook application, you see the ads regarding your personalization choice. When you open a YouTube, you see the ads according to your personalization. Similarly, in the business manner, when you get the data, you have to make the personalization business processes according to that particular situation. And last but not the least, you need to understand the most important things, that what is the actual business problem and their solution could be addressed by the data storytelling. But this is the diagram which you need to understand in detail, that it is a combination of multiple things. At one point, you have the data, right? Then you have the visuals, something like you create normal charts. But at this important stage, we have the narratives. And to show the narrative into the visualization is like an art. So when these three things merge together, we engage, we explain, and we enlighten the data, and then the change comes in. Now, as I mentioned that this is a new skill set, and throughout this video, I will tell you that what are those techniques or tools from which we can learn the data storytelling, right? So as you know, we have a brain and it is divided into three kinds of memories: iconic memory, short-term memory, and the long-term memory. And if I ask you first, Instead of explaining from my side which kind of incidents in your memory has a long-term consistency, I mean, which kind of incidents are still present in your memory as a long term. We have three kinds of memories: iconic memories, short term memories, and long term memories. And as you can see that in our iconic memories, we have the patterns, we have familiarity, right? So the examples are the best fit example could be that we have the utilized the charts and this kind of situation in the short term memory, we have a context stored and that contains a kind of short story which we hear from our teachers and the long term memory, the incidents which teach us some lessons, the incidents which teach us some features and benefits for the long term. Or you can say emotions as the actionable insights. So now these actionable insights become a part of our long term memory. So, similarly, what the data storytelling is telling us all about is that it focuses on the longer side of a brain or longer term memory so that your dashboard should tell you the crux of the business processes, which is going on and how you take the decision in the longer run. Now, the first thing is the visual. First thing is the visual is that our visual brains are attracted by the differences. Now, you can see in the picture, you might see a bear, but there are three different kinds of pictures, and your eyes and brain are acting according to that picture. Your focus is different according to that picture, right? So, I hope to got the point that our visual brains are attracted by the differences. When we see difference, we first go to that point. The differences attract the visual brains. The next thing is that our brains are designed to identify the patterns. For example, now you can see that there are multiple blocks, but one of the block is a larger in size. So this is said that our brain are designed to identify the patterns because we see a different kind of a pattern. We recognize that very easily. Next is our brains are designed to identify a pattern by the orientation. So as you can see, a lot of boxes right here, but one box is different and we can focus first at this point. Next, there is also a difference created by the colors as well. When we create some charts and we do some coloring in it, so our brains also focus in that and our eyes and brains start calculating those objects which are different. So the color is one of the very important aspects when we create dashboards either in Microsoft Excel or in any other business intelligence application. The data storytelling tips for visual brains. Now, here I will tell you some of the tips that, and in this example, we have a line chart. But the point is that we don't just have a line chart, we have the legend as well. We have the title as well. Okay. But the point is that our eyes don't always follow a specific order. So maybe some of you can see these lines, or might be some of you can see this legend first. So there is no some specific pattern defined, and our eyes can go in any direction or in any specific order because it's not following something, a rule of visualization, right? So this is one of the four flow. The next in is in this kind of a chart where we can see that the US incarnation read from 1925 to 2008. So we can see the volume, the large volume first, right? So our eyes first focuses on what stands out. So something which is stands out, we focus on that particular object first. So next is our eyes can handle a few things at once. As you can see, there is a chart, a multiple chart in which we have a line, an area, and it it is related to the customer service calls versus performance. So now there are lot of things in this particular chart, but our eyes can handle a few things at once. Might be first be we'll see the trend which is going on every day or per week. All we can say we might be interested in the average, right? Or might be we are interested in number of customer service calls increasing or decreasing. So in one chart we have a lot of things, but we analyze the data a few things at once and then we come to the next. So this is the patterns which we follow generally when we see the visualization objects. The next part, we are trying to find meaning in the data, and that's very important. Now you can see there is a chart which states the top performance, and there are two variables, rating and volume. And we have two teams, team A and B. So we are trying to find meaning in the data when we see the very very complex kind of a visualization, and we do some analysis out of that what kind of visualization is trying to tell us. So that is very important. So some of the examples which I took from a book, and this book is available to purchase, and I will tell you how I can purchase this. But I found some of the very good examples on how we can improve the data storytelling. That is very important for you to learn in this video, and I will try my best to explain this. So the first example is you have a column chart, and as you can see, you can observe that there are two things depicted in this chart. The first one is ticket volume received and the ticket volume processed. So there is a trend. You can see a comparison between these 2 month wise on a different volume. So before this bar chart display the number of tickets received and processed in a year. So the one bar, blue bars, are showing you the ticket volume received from the visitors or the customers, and the second one is from the pink ticket volume processes. And sometimes definitely the ticket volume will be higher as compared to ticket volume process will be lower side, right? It should not be match sign, or it might be equal. So I need to shift to the traditional kind of a data from the data storytelling concept. So I will move towards a next kind of a chart which is called a line chart. This would be the most appropriate because it gives you a reason as well. And if your purpose is to convey a message and move someone to a specific action, and this tells you that in the initial months from Jan to May, the ticket processes, right? The ticket the tickets requested in this processes were equaling. But as soon as the June and July, we proceed to the next month after July, we can see a gap. And because of that, what was the gap? Because two employees were quit in the month of May, and because of that, the business definitely were not able to catch up. The tickets received and the volume, process volume together. So this is how this kind of a charge tells you the data story and the develop a correct visualization in order to do some decision makings. Previously, there was a column chart, right, which was not depicting the detailed storytelling, whereas the line chart with some kind of additions tells you the reasoning as well. So remember that the data storytelling, you must come up with the reason as well. That visualization should show you the reason. Okay, so next, before this is another example of data displayed without a narrative or clear message. Because there is no narrative, there is no reason, right? Or there is no clear message. Now we have two pie charts, and the question which was asked from the participants were that how do you feel about doing science? So participants have the different opinions. Some of that mark on the board, some say the course is okay. Some of the participants in that they were excited, and after the training again the results were produced, and the post results has a different kind of opinion as the pre. But still this kind of a charge is without the narrative, and narrative is very important. So we substituted this chart and we created a new chart which shows the data storytelling as well. So we come up with the column chart and we put on x-axis parameters like bored or not, get okay, kind of interested, excited, all the variables on the horizontal axis, and we compared it before the program and after the program. We quickly identified that the interest which was not shown by before the program was definitely converted into an excited as compared to after the program. As you can see, the percentage has been increased from 19 to 38. So similarly, we have a narration in this kind of a chart. And this is very simple and clear, which tells you our data story. The example is, it is another example of an ineffective chart. And again, this is not an effective chart. We have multiple product A, B, C, D, E, and we have the average retail product price per year. So this is a simple column chart you can see, but it does not depict any kind of a communication or a narrative. And instead of this kind of a column chart, we created a line chart again. And this line chart, we come up with a narration. So to be competitive, we recommended introducing a new product below average, $2 to $3 per average price point in the 150 to $200 ranges. So we have again 5 products in this line chart. X horizontal axis depicts the time period, and we have come up with the recommended range that we need to set an average price in order to make sure that our average price is being constant, right? So before that, there is no data story that we were unable to do some kind of a decision making. And as soon as we change the chart, we come up with the reasoning, we come up with the narrative. Okay. Next, now this is another kind of a pie chart which tells you that how much a person is interesting to buy a product. So at first glance, this pie chart seems clear enough, but upon deeper analysis, we will find that it does not abide by several conventions that allow viewers to keep tabs on information. And it gives you kind of a confuser. So instead of creating a pie chart, we converted it into a simple bar chart where we have split one bar into 4 different attributes or the variables. We have that a person in is either interested in that buying the product or not. So this kind of a chart, instead of this pie chart, we have created a kind of a bar chart and we split it into a multiple pieces so that we can know that if the product has created an interest, so that the people could quickly buy this product or not. We can see that the 44% is saying that not at all, right? Initially, most of the users, as I observe in the industry, what they do, they have the data and they just created simple kind of charts. But there is no data storytelling. I mean, you should identify the business problem first and then come up with the solution with a proper BI tool. As you can see in this, different kind of story driven dashboards examples, you will find the first dashboard which is related to oil and gas dashboard, which is created on Power BI, which tells you about some of the important KPIs of the business as well. The second dashboard is related to executive sales, which is again created on the Power BI. And then there is third dashboard, which is related to the cost center dashboards. And this is created on Excel. So it is not necessarily that data storytelling always works on Power BI or Excel. It can be any application, but there are some rules of the story-driven dashboards. Every BI tool application has the capability to create the dashboards, but it is on the user that how he has learned his data storytelling techniques in order to make sure that the dashboard should present a story rather than the just a kind of a basic chart. So this was the concept of data storytelling. So either you are using PowerPoint, Excel, dashboards, powered by Tableau, ClickView, or any kind of VI tool. It is now very important a user to learn the visual presentation, how to create innovative presentation, which is stored for the long term in your brains, which could be a part of your long term memory. And we can easily see that when we go for analytics, we go for tools, then we need a data storytellers. So now there is a kind of a designation and department comes in because of all organizations now have a BI tools and all those BI tools need a very good visualizations. So the data storytellers and the chief data storytellers will take the position in near future in the world. Thank you.